Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Dorothy. I am a professional astrologer. You can find me on the web at nhastrologer.com. There you can contact me if you would like your own private sessions. And I'm teaching classes online. You can connect with me there as well. And Facebook, Dorothy Morgan Astrologer. So today what I want to do here is, and this is a new format for me. I've been watching and I've been trying to figure out if I want to do the whole year for each zodiac sign, or if I wanted to continue doing once a month for each zodiac sign. Now that is a huge amount of hours. I can't do it anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 3-month forecast for each zodiac sign. So January, February, March, or basically the winter months, the winter season, and I will work on that for you. And if you want to see the first part of the winter, you go back and you watch the December forecast for your zodiac sign. Okay, so this intro will be in every video, just so you know. Watch the time. If you want to go watch another one, you can skip past this point. All right, thank you for watching, and let me get started. All right, so let's get started for Aquarius. Okay, so what we have going on January 4th is the full moon in the sign of Cancer, and that for you is in your 6th house of health, your daily routine, your working environment, your co-workers, energy like that. And so when you have Cancer in that area of your astrology chart, especially with the full moon, it's just bringing awareness to how you feel, emotionally feel about those things. So focus in on that in the beginning of January. That might help you set some New Year's resolutions as well if you hadn't done so yet. At the same period, we also have 4 Capricorn planets. Just got to look at my notes here. I don't have this memorized anymore. 4 Capricorn planets, they are in your 12th house. And with that being said, you know, the focus there is on building what your hidden strengths are, you know, throughout the last few weeks before January 4th. All the Capricorn energy in that area of your chart would have brought that up for you to see what your hidden strengths and weaknesses are. And so with those 4 planets in that area in the beginning of January, it's all about building up those strengths and, you know, accepting and seeing what those weaknesses are and building around that. On the 5th of January, we have Mercury and Venus. They're both moving into the 1st house, which is your sign of Aquarius. All right. And so with that being said, that just is about you really focusing in on what it is you need, how you present yourself to the world. That Aquarius energy can be rather unique and a unique individual, especially if you have Aquarius rising. Or you can be somebody who seems very normal, very practical, but on the inside, you're very quirky, very different, very independent. So how you want to use that is up to you. Venus moving through Aquarius is definitely an expression of values and how you love and what you love. And with Mercury in there, and Mercury will be doing many things. We'll get to that in a minute. And that is your unique way of expressing yourself, okay, for all of us actually, but for you Aquarius in that 1st house. On the 20th, the new moon is at 0 degrees of Aquarius. Aquarius is a major focus for January. All right, so January into February, as it always is the time of year of Aquarius. And so being that that is your time of year, Aquarius, and in your 1st house, this is when it's your birthday month. And so it is time for you to set new goals for yourself, your new year. So the new moon on January 20th at 0 degrees of Aquarius in that 1st house, again, is all about taking opportunities for yourself, what it is you need within your relationships, what it is you need in anything in life. It is all about the I am. It can be egotistical if you choose it to be, but it can also just be about self-preservation, or, you know, really finally getting to a point where you can ask for what you need. Everybody needs their own personal things. And this is the period for that for you. On the 21st, though, of January, right after this new moon, Mercury will be going retrograde. So from January 5th to January 21st, it's in a direct motion in your 1st house. Again, all about communication in a very analytical, thoughtful way. But once the planet goes retrograde, then we have to reconsider some things. And it will be retrograde from the 21st of January to February 11th in your 1st house. And while it's doing that, that's all the point. The point of that is for us to slow down and reconsider things that we've done the weeks before. So with the retrograde Mercury in your first house, what I would like you to do, and I'm telling every zodiac sign this, is to go into that period with a list, a to-do list, things that you have not completed yet, and finish projects, whatever they are for you. And that's the way we use that retrograde Mercury. Okay, we don't have to start anything new, but we do need to complete some projects, and we can do that easily with the retrograde of Mercury. I'm going to move on to more into February. We're going to back up a little bit because we went all the way to February 11th with Mercury retrograde. Oh yeah, I just wanted to mention that too, as it goes direct on the 11th. That will be the time period. So on, actually back up a little further, January 21st and February 11th. A couple days on either side of those, that planet Mercury is stationary, so communication will be would pretty much be at a standstill. It'll be a little difficult for travel, a little difficult for communicating, a little difficult just to get things moving, because that planet is in a stopped position. So around those 2 dates, just don't push it. Allow things just to be what they are, and then they'll start to pick up their own speed as time goes along. And that goes along with the February 11th energy, okay? Backing up just a smidge, February 3rd, the full moon in Leo in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. All this excitement and energy and attention in the first house of what you need. Then the full moon is over in that 7th house, which is opposite the first. And it wants you to really see where things are harmonious and comfortable, and what it is that is requiring more of your attention in your partnerships. Full moon in Leo will do that. It will make the partner seem very, it will give a lot of attention to your partner. Or they'll be demanding a lot because you might not have been doing enough for them. Something will come up with that. The full moon in Leo can be rather dramatic. So expect some drama of some kind, whether it's your partner or you're dealing with a friend and her relationship. Okay? It'll be anything like that. On the 7th and the 6th and the 7th of February, Venus and Pluto, they're actually connected by a very nice, easy aspect called the sextile, 60 degrees. This is just, I just wanted to mention it. It's not a major aspect or a major transit, but it's a very loving, kind relationship transit. So even though we had for you, Aquarius, you have that full moon in Leo in that 7th house of relationships and partnerships, that could have brought some drama into your life. At the same time, Venus and Pluto are connected, well, within the same time period. They're connected in a very harmonious and comfortable fashion. So if you're interested in taking your relationship to another level, you know, transitioning that relationship to something a little more serious, it can easily happen. Or if it's time for a relationship to be over, you can transition out of that easily with very little damage or karma. You can choose to do that. This transit says so. It's up to you. I'm going to move on to February 18th and the next new moon. And that's also at 29 degrees of Aquarius. So we have two new moons. I apologize. February 18th is a new moon at 29 degrees of Aquarius. There we go. Get that straight. Again, it's in your first house. It's at the final degree of Aquarius. So we started January 20th with the new moon at 0 Aquarius, and we have another new moon at 29 degrees of Aquarius, the beginning and the end. So this is a very big sandwich, a new moon sandwich for you, Aquarius. This is a good year for you to make some serious changes in your life. It is all about what you need. It's not about service to others at this point. The new moons are about what it is that you need to do for yourself, since it is in your sign, in your first house. For the rest of us overall who are not Aquarius or have Aquarius rising, this energy is about how we as individuals can do something that will help the world at large, our neighborhoods, really the world at large, what we need to do for society. And that's what we need to do with this Aquarius energy. All right, so work on that. When things are at the final degree of a zodiac sign, that means it's just a culmination of all that energy of that sign. So focus in on what it is that you want to do that's different, that's independent, that is, very unique, cutting edge. We can't follow the old paradigm anymore. That stuff just doesn't work. So figure out what it is that you need for yourself. So then on the 18th, we also have the sun, excuse me, entering the sign of Pisces in the evening on the East Coast. That means it's time for us to be a little more flexible. Aquarius can be rigid in its thinking. It could be rigid in its thinking in a sense that we have a thought and we don't let it go. That's actually good in a lot of ways, and sometimes it's not, but mainly it can be. So keeping that thought in your head. When the sun moves into the sign of Pisces, we get very relaxed, very carefree. There are no boundaries. Whatever, that's kind of the Pisces way, which is fine. Teaches us to be relaxed. It's not always easy to make decisions, but it teaches us to relax and not be so stressed out about things. And so with the sun entering Pisces on the 18th in the evening, that is in your second house of personal resources, things that you value, your attitudes about money. So you know what? You're going to get an opportunity just to kind of relax a little bit about all of that as the sun moves through that second house. Okay. So on February 19th, Mars enters his own sign of Aries, and that's in your third house. On the 20th, Venus will do the same thing. And then on the 22nd, Venus and Mars will conjunct in your third house. This is a lot of information. This is a lot. This is intense. The masculine and feminine come together in the sign of Aries. There's a lot of physical contact with that. It could be sexual contact, which is fine. There's a lot of let's beautify our house. Let's beautify something. Let's make something look pretty. That's the Venus and the energy of Mars saying let's do something. It's in your third house, so that is, you know, your local area, neighborhood, your home. It's not quite the home, but it's where it's even where you live. It's your neighborhood where you live. It's February in the northern hemisphere, so it's not like we're doing much outside. Not this time of year. But how can you use this? It's through communication, through traveling, through visiting, getting out, moving about, spending time with others. And that's what we want to do. And really, the main thing is that we communicate through our relationships. That Aries in that third house, that Venus and Mars in that third house, really communicate. Lots of communication for you guys in that time period, especially the whole time of Aquarius. Those two planets are in the sign of Aquarius, which is over a month. 7 weeks for Mars, 3 weeks for Venus, okay? All right. On February 23rd, the sun in Pisces square to Saturn in Sagittarius. It's a little bit of a mixed bag. It's a square. Square means there's challenges and maybe obstacles. They are both mutable, so this is not difficult. That means a simple challenge can come up on the 23rd that we can meet easily and move through it, which is what we want to do. All right? On the 23rd and the 24th of February, Venus and Mars are making a harmonious trine to Saturn. And so this means that we're learning what we want within the relationships. So all of that energy of Mars and Venus in your third house and communicating, whether that went well or not for you, it would be very energetic. I can't say whether it's a good or bad thing. It's very energetic. But they are making a trine aspect to Saturn, and that is really going to help calm things down, settle things down, make things very harmonious. So this is actually a very good time for relationships, to settle anything that needs to be settled and to just feel really comfortable with each other, okay? The end of February, the last bit of February, on the 25th, we have the Sun and Neptune conjunct in Pisces in your second house. Again, that's the house of things that you value. Now, with Pisces in there, wherever Pisces is in our chart, we're always just a little foggy about what it is that we need to understand about that house. And so for you with Aquarius rising, that's your second house. And so that just means that, you know, your values, your attitudes, your possessions, your self-esteem, it just goes through some changes here and there. All right? You're not really sure about how you feel about it. And when the sun goes in there and it makes a conjunction to Neptune, you know, it might burn off a little bit of that fog just for a day or two. So the end of February might get a little bit of clarity in that department for yourself. On March 5th, we have the full moon in Virgo. That's in your 8th house of transformation, outside resources. It's our sexuality, it's death, it's taxes, it's the path of discipline. It's what we need to do. So the full moon in Virgo has you focusing in many details about all of those things. All right, so work with it and just redefine those things in your life if that's what you need to do. All right, the full moon in Virgo will do that. Full moon in Virgo is not that dramatic because it's Virgo, it's an earth sign. It's mutable, but it's all about getting stuck in on the details at times. That can be good and it can be difficult. On March 10th, it's a wonderful fire trine between Mars and Jupiter. It's all about what you want, where we're creative, the things we're passionate about. I want us to do all of that thing. So there's a lot of energy here. Mars, Jupiter connecting is very exciting. It's very, very happy. There's just so much that we can do. We don't even know where to begin. So focus in on what it is you want to do, all right? Because that Mars is still in that area, is in Aries. So still in that 3rd house of communication. So that just means you can really get moving around your neighborhood and create some things that you've always been wanting to create. On the 11th of March, Mars and Uranus will make a conjunction in that 3rd house. And that, we need to be careful. Uranus has been transiting that 3rd house for quite some time, because it's pretty slow, and there's always been a lot of activity in there. And again, that 3rd house is how we communicate, how we get around in our local area, local neighborhood. It is our siblings, I haven't really mentioned that, our cousins. But mainly it's the communication and how we have, early education and communication. So there's a lot going on that day. So we just need to be careful of our words, especially in our actions on that day, because it could be a little bit volatile. It could be very dangerous sometimes when Mars and Uranus are conjunct. So just be cautious. Jupiter's involved in this as well as a trine, so that could inflate the sensitivity of this Mars and Uranus conjunction. On the 14th, Saturn will be stationing and then moving retrograde for the coming 4 weeks, and that is in your solar 10th house of career, social status, how people see you out in the world. So it doesn't mean things are going to stop, but what it means is we're going to have a little time for Saturn. It's going to move all the way back into the sign of Scorpio for a few degrees. So it's in Sag, and then it's going to move all the way back into Scorpio, into your 9th house of education, and then it will go back into the 10th house. And so with all of that happening, it just means that for 4 whole months that we have an opportunity to redefine what it is, the structure that we have. Saturn always wants us to define our structure and to work hard to gain the things that we want to gain in life and prestige and all of that. And for you, Aquarius, this will be in the career sector mainly. So that's going to be a major focus for you this year with Saturn moving through that sector, actually for the next couple of years, moving through your career sector. You'll be redefining your career and what it is that you want to be known for and how you want to work. On the 17th, Venus enters the sign of Taurus. This is really nice. It's on March 17th. It's in your 4th house of home and family, so that's very nice. It's beautification of your home. So enjoy it and have fun. We're coming into spring here in the Northern Hemisphere at that point. So it'll be much appreciated, and we really look forward to it. The final thing I want to talk about, no, not quite the final thing, but we're close. On March 20th, we have a new moon solar eclipse. It is at 29 degrees of Pisces at 5:36 a.m. on the east coast of the United States. This is the very end of the zodiac. It is the last degree of the zodiac. So it is a new moon, which is usually about setting goals and planting new seeds. But it's a void of course moon, even though it's an eclipse and it's a new moon, it's a void of course moon. And that just means that we are not to do anything for another 12 hours, 12, 13 hours. We really want us to wait until the sun enters the sign of Aries. The moon enters Aries right away, but 12 hours, so at 6:45 p.m., when the sun enters the sign of Aries, then we can set some new goals. So in that time period, that 13 hours from 5:36 a.m. to 6:45 p.m., I just think it's important that we spend that time really defining what it is, what we are completing. For you, this is in your second house of values and your personal resources. All right? And so how do we need to redefine that? So I'm going to read this sentence to you. So we all have a chance. I wrote this, so no copyright infringement here. We all have a chance to go over what our lives have been about over the last year, so we can gather our thoughts and we can soon manifest something new that matches who we are now. So that's what I want you to do over the last astrological year. Really gather your thoughts. See what you've gone through, where you've been, what you've done. Really define it. This is like a new year. This is astrological new year. Has more significance than the date of January 1st. Those are the days we should be setting new goals. So right here on March 20th, especially in the evening, we can set new goals. Great time for vision boards if you're into that. All right. So the new moon and this new the sun moving into the sign of Aries, all of this going on an eclipse day, March 20th. It's about complete and total culmination of everything we've done throughout the year. See what it is you've done and release the things that are not working anymore. And then set up new energies and new goals and new intentions for your new year. I'm going to leave you with that. That's more than enough for today. Thank you all for watching, and I will say blessed be and namaste.